What's up? What's up? Welcome in, SuperDraft family. Sure, a bunch of you guys are watching football right now. Busy, but we're going to get to talking about it anyways, even if you ain't here. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about last night a little bit. I know we got a bunch of stuff to get into. Once again, Kevin Durant going down, that kind of really messed up my lineup a little bit. But everybody else I had in, it was over 50 points. Durant would have done what he was supposed to do. Shit happens, so that he's going to be out for a little bit.
Well, and the worst part about it too is he played about 12 minutes and he had like 24 points in the 12 minutes, which is two fantasy points per minute, which is just ridiculous. So if you would have kept up that pace like the entire game, he probably gets close to 70.
Yeah, the end of the game, I think, with 24 points or something like that, pretty close to that.
Right around there.
And, that's a huge difference. 50 points would have been like a huge difference. Like, on SuperDraft how much, 10 points can make a difference on SuperDraft. Yeah. So what 50 points would have made a difference, I think some of our lineups would have been, way, way better. So, let's get into some of the guys that did well. Let's get into studs and duds and, our dart throws. And then after that, we'll get into some of these injuries.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so the studs from last night, Darius Garland, that was a big talking a big talking point yesterday for us as well. 23.25 points before the multiplier, 1.25 after the multiplier, just over 79 points. He played incredibly well. I think he had like 18 assists in this game last night too, which is just ridiculous, but that upside is definitely there, especially when Rondo's out. I believe Rondo's already been ruled out for tomorrow as well. So Darius Garland definitely going to be somebody to look at tomorrow once again. Anthony Simons, even with the 1.35 multiplier, still panned out yesterday, got 76.28 points after that multiplier. Then Robert Covington kind of came out of nowhere. And at least in the contest I was in, it seems like everybody that was way up at the top had Robert Covington. And he's only at like 1.8% ownership. And 1.65 multiplier, ended up with 45.25 points. 74.66 after the multiplier. He had 4 steals and 1 block in this game, so that definitely helped him out as well. A couple 3-pointers. So, it doesn't take too much, but sometimes those defensive guys, they just go straight up to the top. But, guys like Robert Covington, they're not people that do this on a consistent basis at the very least. Then Alex Burks, who we've been talking about for a while now, 1.65 multiplier, 41.25 points before the multiplier, 68.06 after the multiplier. I'm not sure how much the lineups you had that played him, but I had him in mind last night too as well. So
I think we only put him in one.
It was like 1 or 2, I think.
I think you're right. All right, let's get into some of these dart throw darlings, man.
Yeah,
I don't think I started any of these guys at all.
No, these ones kind of were out of nowhere. Bones Highland's the top one, and if you're on SuperDraft, and he's a guy that could be a dart throw once again tonight, but his name on SuperDraft is his actual name, Nashawn Highland, instead of Bones Highland. Bones is his nickname. He was a 2x multiplier yesterday at 51 points, and before the multiplier, 102 after the multiplier. I don't think pretty much anybody played him last night, or at least that I saw, but he played 33 minutes. He had 10 rebounds, hit 6 threes in garbage time, so probably something that's not repeatable once again. But, if Austin Rivers is out tonight, maybe a dart throw there once again at 2x multiplier. And then Ayo Dosunmu, who is the rookie out of Illinois for the Chicago Bulls, ended up playing in that starting lineup. Played big minutes last night. So that really helped him out quite a bit. He's a 2x multiplier, 43 points, 86 after the multiplier. I will say, though, too, the last time he started for the Bulls, when they had some injuries and stuff, too, he played like 32, 34 minutes or something like that, and he ended up with like 8 points. So it's not like exactly repeatable, but I believe he had 10 assists last night too as well. So that really helped him out quite a bit. Jeff Green is a back-to-back good games for him now. 40.75 points, 1.8 multiplier, ended up with 73.35. So maybe we look at Jeff Green a little bit more today. He's in play. He's a 1.8 once again today, been playing, north of 28 minutes last 2 times out. So if that happens once again, he plays all right, then he could definitely pay off. But he had 26 points in real life yesterday, so I don't expect that to happen quite again. And then Caleb Martin just came off the bench for the Heat, like in, I think it was 19 minutes last night. 1.7 multiplier, 37.25 points before the multiplier, 63.33 after the multiplier. I believe he had a couple steals and blocks in there too, so that really helped him push him out over the top.
All right, well, sorry we've already been talking about it, but I was looking for a good picture of him like holding his knee, but I couldn't find a good one.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's probably one yet, but
There are
obviously,
some, but they weren't very good. Like they were like blurry.
yeah, obviously Kevin Durant got hurt, as we were kind of alluding to earlier last night, so he only ended up with 24.25 points. He has a 1x multiplier, so he was stuck at that 24.25 points. But like I said, that was in like 12, 13 minutes, so he had two fantasy points per minute, which is incredible place. Probably wasn't going to keep that up the rest of the game, but if he did, he would have been close to 70 points. So it's just kind of unfortunate, but obviously now that he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a sprained MCL, James Harden's looking a lot better. The games where they're on the road and they don't play the Knicks or the Raptors, Kyrie Irving's going to look better. Some of these other pieces on the Brooklyn Nets team could look a little bit better too. But even from a real life NBA aspect, it's kind of a big loss for their team overall, especially, since Kyrie is only playing on those road games. Maybe it gets him a little incentive to go get vaccinated so he can play in their home games as well. It'd be interesting to see how that all shakes out. Then we have John Collins on the list once again, 1.3 multiplier, 20.25 before the multiplier, 26.33 after the multiplier. So back-to-back days that he kind of busted. Even with Clint Capella not being there, getting some center minutes, just hasn't done much lately. Jonas Valanciunas, another name that's been on here quite a bit lately too as well. 21.25 points before the multiplier, 1.25 multiplier. He ended up with 26.56. So just not a great night for him overall. He scored the ball okay. He didn't really have many rebounds or anything else, so that's really what hurt him. And then Kyle Lowry, they were at home against Miami, but they're playing 76ers, a team that he really grew up rooting for. He played at Villanova. He's from the city of Philadelphia, or that area, I should say. So sometimes he does good against them, sometimes he doesn't. Last night was not as pretty, 1.35 multiplier, 25 points before the multiplier, 33.13 after the multiplier. And I don't think Kyle Lowry was anybody we're hyping up too much, just, since Jimmy Butler was playing anyways.
Kyle Lowry. All right.
He had a really bad shooting night too as well. I do remember seeing that when I looked through the stats. And yeah, that was the initial look from last night. There's going to be a couple major changes from that till now too as well.
Let's get into it. Let's talk about some injuries then. Let's talk a little bit of injuries. Let's talk about what guys can maybe come in and just make some moves to help make these teams keep going.
Yep. So I am refreshing this page real quick, but the Houston Rockets are essentially all the way healthy. John Wall's out, but he hasn't played all year. They're just holding him out till they trade him, essentially. He's not even holding out. The team's doing it to him. So because the Rockets are bad anyways, they're not trying to win. Then for the Sacramento Kings side, Marvin Bagley got ruled out earlier today with a shoulder injury. Tyrese Halliburton is on the COVID protocol list now, so he's not playing tonight. Tristan Thompson and Robert Woodard, we already knew were out at the beginning of the day, but Rashawn Holmes and Damon Jones are both back today. So Rashawn Holmes is in the starting lineup. We had the starting lineup already for the Sacramento Kings, which is De'Aaron Fox, Terrence Davis, Harrison Barnes, I can't even pronounce Chimezie Meto's first name properly, and then Rashawn Holmes. So there's going to be some value there on that Kings team tonight. Some good guys with some high multipliers, whether it's Terrence Davis at 1.8. Buddy Hield's still coming off the bench. I believe he's at 1.6 tonight. So I thought he'd end up starting, but he's not. So that's kind of weird. Metu and Rashawn Holmes are both at 1.7. I believe Harrison Barnes is at 1.6. And then De'Aaron Fox looks a lot better tonight without Tyrese Halliburton overall. Then we get down to the Jazz. And I should say, too, with this slate, it's an interesting slate because it's only a 3-game slate, too. Obviously, tomorrow is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, which is a big day in the NBA. They have games going all day. There's 12 games in total tomorrow. The main slate, I don't believe, will have 12 games because there's some games that happen earlier on in the day as well. But that's definitely a big thing for the NBA and why there's not quite as many teams playing today. But going back to the Jazz real quick, Jared Butler, Elijah Hughes, and Hassan Whiteside are all out. Rudy Gobert, Rudy Gay are back today as well. So Rudy Gobert at 1.3. He looks decent, a guy that usually gets you about 40 points. But my concern with him is if he plays 30-plus minutes tonight. So they don't really have a traditional backup center behind him. They're playing against Nikola Jokic, which would lean to him probably playing big minutes still once again. But obviously it comes down to his conditioning at this point in time. But for the rest of the part, the Utah Jazz are as healthy as they're going to get at this point in time. For the Denver Nuggets, there's not really too much new. I mean, JaMychal Green went on the COVID list yesterday, but he wasn't somebody we're really looking at. Austin Rivers still dealing with that illness that he was able to miss last night with. He's questionable to play still today. So we'll see if he's there or not. He's not a guy that we particularly want to play, but if he doesn't play, maybe Bones Highland at the 2x multiplier looks a little bit better. He gets a couple more minutes. But, Bones Highland still was a guy that benefited greatly yesterday from increased minutes due to the blowout run as well. And I don't think the Nuggets in the Jazz game, I don't think it's going to be a blowout in either direction at this point in time, since the Nuggets have been playing pretty well as of late, even though when you look at like their individual players, it's not like anybody's really standing out, between, the 9 or 10 guys that they're playing on a regular basis.
What's up, Antonio? What's going on, man? How's football going? You winning in anything?
Yep. And then that last game we got is the Golden State Warriors and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Golden State Warriors lineup has already been announced. Jordan Poole is starting at point guard. Obviously, Steph Curry is not playing tonight. Draymond Green's not playing either. And then James Wiseman's been out all season, and Gary Payton II is out once again with his back injury. So that starting lineup once again, Jordan Poole, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter Jr. in the starting lineup, and Kevon Looney at center. So there's going to be some decent value here. I have not heard any more news if Klay Thompson's expected to play more than 20 minutes once again tonight. So I would assume he's still around 20 minutes tonight. 1.65, maybe he's in play on a short slate, but the fact that he's only guard eligible, there's some other guards out there. It's probably not quite as interesting to me. If he had forward eligibility, I'd probably take a look at it in some of my lineups just because forward's so very cut and dry today, it almost seems like.
Yeah, you were telling me. I mean, I was making the graphics, and I kept trying to refresh the page to find guys, and I was like, oh, I guess there's a bunch of nobody.
Even when you look at the forward position today, the top or the guy with the lowest multiplier is Christian Wood at 1.25. It's like there's nothing even lower than that. So it's going to be real interesting day at the forward position. That's probably where you make your biggest differentiation points because it's about 4 or 5 guys. You're maybe playing 3 of them, and you're just kind of mixing and matching them. Let's see. Go Bucks. Oh, let's go Bucks. One game closer.
Yeah, he bet on the Bucks to win, the Super Bowl today. Mm-hmm. He did it, and he bet 150, and it was free money, 150 free money. To yeah, it's a good thing to celebrate.
I mean, there's a lot. At least you didn't bet on one of the teams that lost this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see, where was I? So Timberwolves, real quick. We don't have the starting lineup for them yet, but assumed it's going to be Patrick Beverley, D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, Karl Anthony Towns. Jordan McLaughlin's out tonight. He's just a depth backup point guard at this point in time. Doesn't play a lot of minutes, so not too concerned about him. Bo Morrow is game time decision, but he shouldn't be in the rotation in a regular game either. So not anything major there. I mean, I don't think there's going to be many surprises in terms of starting lineups. I mean, Houston should be pretty straightforward with Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tate, and Christian Wood. Jazz should be pretty straightforward with your normal 5 starters that they start most of the time with Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, Rudy Gobert, and then the Nuggets should be Monty Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, and Nikola Jokic once again. So I don't really expect too many changes. I think we got pretty much all the news that we're going to get, outside of Austin Rivers getting ruled out or ruled in with his illness, which doesn't make a big
difference
in terms of the grand scheme of the whole slate.
What do you think about Bogdanovic tonight?
No. He's he's going to be on our sheet as a dart throw. Just because he's got the 1.7, that makes him somewhat interesting, but he still has to have a pretty good scoring game to get there because he doesn't do a lot in terms of other stats, really.
All right, let's get into some of these guys.
But I mean, even with Bogdanovic, he looks better today because forward's so bleak and not that great looking, and he's a 1.7, and he's a guy if he gets 30 at 1.7, that's 51 points, so that makes him in play at least.
All right, so let's talk about tonight's slate. Let's get into some of these guards in play. In our guards, so the way we rank it, guards are one-time just regular guards. So we also do dart throws. Our dart throws are anybody that's 1.7 and above. But anybody else, I mean, 1 times multiplier to 1.65 multiplier is kind of what we're at for our guards.
Yep. Sorry.
Did you lose, Craig?
No, I was plugging my laptop charger in.
Oh, I had that problem earlier.
Yeah, I'm like, battery's getting a little bit low. Probably do it before it yells at me. But in
Cuts out on you.
terms of the guard, let me see. So we'll start off with the ones that are on the graphic at least. So Donovan Mitchell, 1.15. We know what Donovan Mitchell is at this point. He's probably a guy. Excuse me. He's probably a guy that's going to get you, 42 points or so most nights. Give you a chance to get to that 48, 50. If he has an upside game, he's going to help your team out quite a bit overall. Anthony Edwards, we've seen, probably right around 38 points, sometimes 40, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. I wish his multiplier is just a little bit higher, but, on a short slate like tonight, he's still definitely in play. De'Aaron Fox at 1.3, kind of talked about him a little bit when we were going through the lineups, the injuries and everything like that. No Tyrese Halliburton tonight should make him look pretty good. I was kind of fading him for a little while when they talked about his shoulder, being questionable for a couple games. But, he's played really well the last couple games, so I'm not really concerned about that shoulder at this point in time. D'Angelo Russell, we've been playing a little bit as of late. He's been playing pretty well. 1.3 multiplier, still definitely in play there. Will Barton's kind of like that Bogdanovich that we were just talking about. He's a guy that's probably going to get you right around 30 points, very scoring dependent. If he does a little bit of something else, probably can pop off. But if he doesn't, you get the 30 points to 31 points. You're looking at, 46 and a half, 47 points. So you need him just to get a little bit more than he usually does, which could happen tonight. But, they're still going against the Jazz, who are a pretty decent defensive team as well. So if he's not shooting the ball incredibly well, Will Barton's a guy that can kind of flop on you too. So just something to watch out for there. And then Jordan Poole looks pretty good tonight at 1.65. Obviously, there's no Steph Curry, so his usage has to go somewhere. It's going to go to Jordan Poole. It's going to go to Andrew Wiggins, maybe a little bit to Klay Thompson, but Klay Thompson already been doing anything he wants to do anyways in his limited minutes that he's been playing. Let's see. And then two other ones to talk about at guard is Buddy Hield, 1.6, but he's not starting for the Kings, but he'll still probably play 30-plus minutes. Guy that's going to go out and chuck up a bunch of threes. If he makes some, he's going to look pretty good at 1.6. If he gets – just doing some math real quick. So if you get 30 out of him, he gets you to 48, which is a decent play. If he has an upside game, which he's had a couple of those lately, then he's a guy that could definitely be in play at that 1.6 multiplier. Kevin Porter Jr., just throwing his name out there because it is a 3-game slate. He's eligible at guard and forward, so that makes him, somewhat interesting. He has that 40-point upside before the multiplier. Doesn't always get there. A lot of games he gets to 18 too. So that's kind of like if you want to flip a coin and see if it lands on whatever you're pretty much get. If you call heads, you hope it lands on heads. If it lands on tails, your line is probably tanked. But especially on a 3-game slate where there's not a lot of areas where your lineups are going to be too different from other people as well.
Well, I mean, so Huss was asking me earlier about this. He said, what do you think is easier when it's a small slate like this or when it's a lot of games? I said when it's like in between, like five games. I think that's probably the easiest. 5 or 6 games.
So I guess on SuperDraft it really depends. When I'm talking from a FanDuel or a DraftKings perspective, I typically prefer 5 to 9 game slates just because there's some value there. You have to determine which value is the good chalk, which value is the bad chalk. From SuperDraft, it really just depends on which teams are playing because I've won a decent amount of money on 3 or 4 game slates, but I've also won a good amount of money on 10 game slates too. So maybe not even SuperDraft is so weird. It might not be even in the middle, that 6 to 8 range, which is kind of like the other sites. I think sometimes it's the big slates, and sometimes it's the real small slates on SuperDraft. I don't know why, but that's just how I feel about it, at least.
Dude, it's really cool. I'm looking right here at the SuperDraft right now at the one that you were in first in. I'm just on the basic one right now, but it's funny seeing a couple of my coaches up there in the top, like you, and I got another guy up there too.
Yeah.
And then I'm close behind in 16th. It's awesome. I like seeing that. You got a good crew.
Yeah. I don't know if when I looked before, I'm I'm in first place in everything. I'm just stop the contest right now. Just give me the money.
It doesn't matter. You have so much left on your team to go compared to everybody else. You're fine. You being in second, you should easily get first.
The only thing I really have to worry about with that is how much Mahomes comes in at, how much Kelsey comes in at for ownership. because like if those two go off together, then it could be something.
Yeah, but we're hoping for Pringle.
Yep. No, yeah, but still, like, I mean, because Mahomes still can beat out Jalen Hurts pretty easy since I played Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
We'll get back to basketball real quick. So
let's talk about the couple of forwards we talked about. Yeah, like there's only a few.
Yeah, I added a couple. I think I added a couple too. Let me see. Yeah, I added just a couple other names just to throw in there at least for now, but we're going to have some dart throw ones too. But Christian Wood 1.25. He played the Sacramento Kings last time out. He played very well in that game. I know he had 42 FanDuel points. I'm not sure what it was on SuperDraft. It should be pretty similar though. So he's definitely in play, a guy that can get you 50 points pretty easy. Jayshawn Tate's been playing well as of late, but there's still some risk there. Like Christian Wood's like the safest forward today, and he's not always safe either. So like there's not much safety at forward today. So like you could talk about any forward on the slate, and they could be the best forward on the slate, or they could be the worst forward on the slate. That's just kind of the reality of the 3-game slate today. It's not like you have a big LeBron James, Kevin Durant if he was healthy, Anthony Davis if he's healthy, somebody like that. You don't have these big Giannis. You don't have somebody that's guaranteed. Like even if they go out and they don't play their best game, they're still going to get you like 50 points. Like if these guys go out and they play their best game, or like if they play their best game, they're going to pay off. But if they play like their worst game's like 20-point floors. So instead of like 40-point floors. So it's kind of interesting when you put it in perspective that way. But Jayshawn Tate, another guy that had been playing well, if he keeps up what he's been doing, he's definitely in play. Harrison Barnes, he gets that uptick because they don't have Marvin Bagley tonight. They don't have Tyrese Halliburton. Barnes could maybe shoot the ball a little bit more. If he does that, he looks all right. If he plays the power forward position just a little bit more than he typically does, that could help him out as well in terms of like rebounds and stuff like that. Otto Porter Jr. in that starting lineup for the Golden State Warriors tonight. Like I mentioned, that usage from Steph Curry has to go somewhere. So it could go to Otto Porter Jr., could go to Andrew Wiggins, could go to Jordan Poole. 1.65, definitely interested in him, especially since he is starting to probably get 28 minutes tonight. Yeah, so Metu is going to be somebody. Yeah. So Metu is going to be somebody that is on our dart throw as well at the center position. But the bad part about him on SuperDraft is he's only center eligible, and he's a 1.7 multiplier. So even if he goes out and he gets 30 points at 1.7, he gets to 51. He still probably doesn't beat Nikola Jokic or Karl Anthony Towns most of the time. So that's kind of the concern with him. If he was eligible at forward, definitely be interested in him.
Yeah, it sucks. That's something that we're gonna have to mention. I'll have to mention that because that's something that should have been, I guess we should have mentioned that earlier. Should have mentioned that earlier for them to fix that.
I'm not like too worried about it. I mean, like FanDuel's the same way. FanDuel has it the same way, so it's not something they're gonna fix in one day, regardless. But like it's something we can poke them. It's something we can poke them about, but it might not get fixed regardless.
What's up, David? My man, David, always showing love.
Let me see.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely playing Christian Wood tonight.
I think everybody's playing Christian Wood tonight because he's like the safest guy, but even then, he's not like when you compare him to all those other guys I was kind of talking about. He's just not that safe, but. On tonight's slate, he looks pretty good compared to everybody else. Andrew Wiggins, he's a one. I'm going to talk about Andrew Wiggins and Jared Vanderbilt just real quick too is here as well. So Andrew Wiggins 1.45. He needs a pretty good game to do it, but if he ends up getting some of that usage from Steph Curry not being out there, then I would take a look at him. If you're playing some of these I probably wouldn't play like too many of these Golden State Warriors guys together, like Andrew Wiggins, Otto Porter Jr., Jordan Poole. I mean, if you play 2 out of 3. That's probably what I do, cycle them through. Or if you just want to play like 1 out of 3, just because like they kind of counteract each other, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Then last but not least, Jared Vanderbilt at 1.65. He plays big minutes. If he has if he has that upside game, he could definitely pay off. He's got a decent multiplier. We've seen him do it at times this year, but the fact that Jaden McDaniels isn't starting alongside him anymore, and they're kind of splitting the minutes at the power forward position really is hurting him overall.
All right, let's get into some centers here.
Yep. So center, there's not too much to talk about here. There's 3 guys. There's Nikola Jokic, who is arguably one of the best fantasy players in the entire NBA at center, but he's a 1x multiplier. He's going to pay off more times than not. Karl-Anthony Towns at 1.15 makes him pretty interesting as well, since he's a guy that's going to get you probably at least 40 points on any given night, has that upside as well. I think I had him projected for about 46 points initially, so that gets you up to probably 53 super draft points, I want to say. And then Rudy Gobert, I think he's 1.3. I could be wrong, though. Is he 1.25?
Rudy Gobert was 1.25.
He's 1.25?
Yeah, 1.25.
I like him even less.
That's what it was, yeah.
For some reason,
I looked earlier. Yeah, you didn't have it, so it was 1.25.
Yeah. In my mind, he was 1.3. So, at 1.25, I don't like him quite as much because he's probably a guy that's going to get you right around 40 points if he plays normal minutes. If he doesn't play normal minutes, then he's probably not going to get you there. And if he only gets 40, then he gets you 50 points. If he gets you a little bit more than that, he'll be all right. But, just when you're comparing him to the other two, and Nikola Jokic and Karl-Anthony Towns, it's a little bit tougher to get there, especially with us not really knowing how many minutes he's going to play tonight. Maybe there's an update on his minutes limit before that game. I believe that one is one of the 7 o'clock games. So obviously that'll be after we're done with this stream. But if you go on my channel and there's some type of minutes limit, I'll also list that down in my video as well.
Yeah, make sure you guys are getting signed up on Coach Grizz Sports on YouTube. Get them extra stuff in the morning. He's got all the injury updates in the morning. He's got all the lineups and stuff for even if you're playing FanDuel and DraftKings too. It helps out.
Yep. It's going to be an interesting slate tonight, though. It's always interesting when you have 3 games and then, there's decent values on tonight's slate. But especially, from this super draft side, it's just this forward spot. You're just what do I do because I have to play 3 of these guys? But center is pretty cut and dry. It's those 3 guys at the top. There's one, Metu is your dart through. He's the only dart thrower really at center at this point in time since some of those other guys got rolled back in. And maybe he plays big minutes, maybe he doesn't, because even when he started games, we've seen him play 30-plus minutes when he's played that power forward position in the starting lineup. But we also seen games where he started and only played 22 minutes too. So there's a lot of volatility there. And if he's not getting – because he's not going to be a guy that's shooting the ball a ton either. So you're going to hope for some rebounds, some blocks and stuff like that out of him. It just makes him a lot riskier compared to the other 3 centers at least.
So I think I'm going to do – we got 4 lineups to play with tonight. We're going to get into these dart throws next, but, it's just going to be Jokic and Towns,
Yeah, that's probably the way I would lean, just kind of mix and match between the 2. So there's a couple other guys that I did throw on for some of these dart throws as well. We'll cover them as well as the ones that are listed on the screen. And let me just get to that point on my page. So I'm just going to group 3 guys together here for the Nuggets guards. We got Monte Morris at 1.75, Campazzo at 1.75, and then obviously Bones Highland is a 2 multiplier that, did pretty well last night in garbage time. Give it, can't say too much about it since it was garbage time, but it still counts for NBA DFS. Doesn't mean it's going to happen once again today. So the interesting part about these guys is Monte Morris and Campazzo have been splitting the minutes at the point guard position. And early on in the year, it was kind of Morris was playing more, and then Campazzo's been playing more lately. So Campazzo's been getting closer to 25 minutes and Morris 23. At times earlier in the year, they were playing alongside each other, but it doesn't really seem like that's happening now at this point. So that's something interesting to watch out for. I think each one could be very interesting, but at this point in time, they're both dart throws because it's whoever gets more minutes if they're fighting against each other.
Oh, shit. Second take extra in the building. What's up, big man? He says, Woods tonight. Yeah, Wood tonight. Yep, for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if Christian Wood is 88% ownership on SuperDraft tonight. That would not surprise me at all. Yeah. Like I said, with Gobert, he's got the higher multiplier, but it's just how many points does he how many minutes does he actually score tonight? I can't talk right now. How many minutes does he actually play tonight? That's the big question.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's coming back from
they only give him 28 minutes or less.
The best thing, like I said, the best thing before in his favor is they're playing against Jokic. So Jokic is going to be out on the court probably 36 minutes out of the game unless this is a blowout, which I don't anticipate. You probably don't want Rudy Gay or Udoka Azubuike or Eric Paschall on Nikola Jokic. So that would mean Rudy Gobert's out there more often than not, but we don't know what his conditioning is. We don't know if there's a minutes limit. kind of like I already talked about, though, if we get some other type of update out there, I'll definitely put that out as well, since that is the 7 o'clock start game, or 7 o'clock Central Time start. Let's see where we were at real quick. So we have Andre Iguodala, who's another guy that could see increased minutes tonight. He's a guy that can put up decent fantasy point per minute performances. Obviously, there's no Steph Curry. There is no Draymond Green. So this is a guy that can kind of facilitate some. Very, very intelligent player, high basketball, high IQ for a basketball player. So Andre Iguodala, if they need him tonight, if he plays decent minutes and he plays well, could be a guy that pans out at 1.85. Let's see. Then we got the Kings guys here. So we got Terrence Davis, who's in the starting lineup at 1.8. Obviously, we've seen him have some decent games earlier this year. If he has the decent game, if he's shooting the ball well, stays in the game, plays big minutes, he could pay off at 1.8. And then Davion Mitchell at 1.8. He hasn't quite played as much since he came back from the COVID list, but, there's no Tyrese Halliburton tonight. So at 1.8, if he gets more minutes, he could be in play, but not somebody I'm particularly banking on myself. It's more of a real dart throw at this point in time.
Oh my God, dude! In the top 20, there's four of us. There's 4 of us that are in our crew.
Ooh, let's take all the money.
Let's go, buddy.
So for the forwards, the dart throws, we got Bojan Bogdanovic there.
And Peacock. Peacock's up there too.
Let's see. Damn. So Bojan Bogdanovic, 1.7. Kind of talked a little bit about him before. If he's scoring the ball well, if he gets to 30 points, he at 1.7 will get you to 51. That's somebody you can look at. I don't think it's somebody I'm going out of my way to get in a lot of lineups. We'll probably end up playing him in one, since we're setting about 4. But. Rashawn Holmes at 1.7. Obviously, he's coming back now. He's missed a lot of time this year. He had an eye injury. Then he came back and played for a little while. Then his eye was bugging him again. Then he came back for a little bit and played, and then he got on the COVID list. So the biggest thing with him might be his conditioning. If he's in good basketball shape to play big minutes. If he plays big minutes tonight at 1.7, he looks pretty good. But they do have a couple other options that they can move over to the center position tonight if needed, with Damon Jones and Alex Len. So that makes him more of a dart throw than he probably normally would be. Joe Ingles at 1.8. When I was first looking at the slate, he looked like a decent one, but Joe Ingles has not played very well tonight, or this season, excuse me. And then last but not least, we got Kevon Looney. We had that one kind of bust game in there. He played pretty well the last time out again, 1.85. His multiplier's not changing at all. They're playing against the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns is going to be out on the court more often than not. So they're probably going to need Kevon Looney in this game because they don't really want to play Bielitsa or Juan Toscano Anderson or Otto Porter on Karl Anthony Towns. That doesn't sound like a good idea. And then last but not least, we got them centers.
I don't think so either.
It's just Metu, though, at 1.7. Like Alex Len, I wouldn't look at now because Rashawn Holmes is back. And Damian Jones is back too, so I really wouldn't touch Alex Len tonight. It's just Metu, and then he has to have a very good game to outscore all those other centers, so he's really, really big dart throw. We did get the Rockets starting lineup though too, so it's Otto Porter. Rockets starting lineup, so it's Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, Jayshawn Tatum, Christian Wood, which was exactly what we expected, so nothing new there.
All right, let's get into this. We got 4 to set, so let's get to it.
They should make a rule where it says you can't have 2 different teams with Porter Jr. starting on the same night. When I'm trying to talk about it.
All right, so we already know where we're gonna go with one of them. So we're gonna go obviously with Jokic at center and 1.
Yep.
I already
Christian
know we
Wood.
want to go with Wood. Yeah, this is how we're gonna.
Do you want to play Wood? Do you want to play Wood in all the lineups, or do you want to have one more? Because I think his
ownership. We have 4.
Yeah, because I think his ownership percentage is probably going to come in around 88%. Would be my guess. It's really hard not to play him. I think Otto Porter Jr. at 1.65 looks pretty good. He's going to be in my main lineup at least.
Kevin Porter's at 1.5.
Otto Porter.
Otto Porter. At least my bad.
That's what I just got done saying. I'm like, there shouldn't be 2 Porter Juniors on the same slate. or they can play the same position at least. Let's see. The other forwards just like
there is a Porter Jr. Like they have Porter Jr. in here.
Yeah, they're both Porter Juniors.
Yeah.
But
so
like,
do we want to go Wiggins or do we want to go Barnes or do we want to go?
I wouldn't want to.
What about Vanderbilt? What do you think about Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt's risky.
Well,
because him and McDaniels are splitting minutes again. So like he was good when McDaniels started, because then he wasn't losing minutes to McDaniels because they're playing alongside each other. I don't like playing Wiggins and Otto Porter together that much. I mean, you can definitely do it, but then I would definitely not play Jordan Poole. I kind of like playing Jordan Poole and Porter Jr. together, which we did a while back, and that didn't turn out too pretty. But, it's a different situation. Those guys are healthier now than they were.
Let's play Jason Tate.
He's played pretty well the last couple games, so it's the same matchup as the last game, so he could do pretty well. I'd be looking at Jason Tate, Harrison Barnes.
So we go. I mean, Minnesota. I think Minnesota could just dominate Golden State tonight at home easily.
No.
Why not?
It's going even if they don't have Steph Curry, it's still Golden State. Like, they're still going to play good enough. If they don't. Golden State rarely rolls over and dies.
Well, I mean, how Minnesota's been playing. I mean, Minnesota's at least been putting up 108 plus.
Yeah, no, but like Minnesota is also like the worst defense. They also give up a crap ton of points too, so I don't think they're going to get like just roll away with it either. So that's why that's a good game to target though. I think De'Aaron Fox at 1.3 is like almost like have to play him without Halliburton.
And then we're gonna go Poole, right?
Probably, yeah. We'll just do that one for this one.
I mean, we could have gotten Klay Thompson too. And then
I don't know what to
say. Fox,
yeah, 1.3.
All right.
Fox is almost.
So, all right, so let's go ahead and say that one out.
So guards, we got D'Angelo Russell 1.3, Jordan Poole at 1.65, De'Aaron Fox at 1.3, Christian Wood at 1.25, Otto Porter Jr. at 1.65, Jason Tate at 1.55, and then center Nikola Jokic at a 1 max multiplier. So that is the first lineup.
Okay, I'll save that one. Boom. Lineup saved. Bam. Hey, it actually worked the right way. Click here to edit one.
Yep. So you want to do a Karl Anthony Towns one this time?
Sure. We'll do one where we kind of stack that game then, right?
Yeah, for the most part.
Well, I mean, yeah, it'll be like I'm saying, we're gonna go. Do we want Russell or we want Edwards in this one?
If I'm playing Karl Anthony Towns, I want Russell. I don't want. I think Edwards and Towns, they kind of counteract each other too much most of the time. On a small slate, it doesn't matter as much, but.
And then here we're also going to go at forward. We're going to go Wood. And
play Wiggins this time in this one.
Okay.
Instead of Porter.
And then I wanted to play. Who else did I said I wanted to play Klay.
You want to play Klay?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know if he plays more than 20 minutes. They haven't said that he's going to play more than 20 minutes. Like, it's hard. Like, you can do it one of the lines. I don't care. Like, it's a 3-game slate, so he could still pay off. But it's just like, if he only plays 20 minutes again, it's like,
yeah, I agree. Who do you want to play from that game then? Golden State.
Probably Jordan Poole again. Let's see. Unless you want to make like unless you want to put Andre Iguodala on one of these lines. But if Wiggins goes off, I'm trying to think of how Iguodala plays more minutes. Who he's going to get the minutes from? He's going to get from Klay Thompson because Klay Thompson's only getting 20 minutes.
What about Looney? What about Looney then?
Yeah, Looney's fine. You can play him there.
Yeah, 1.85. I mean, I kind of like that.
Because you should have to put bigger minutes with Towns up there. It's not really risky on a 3-game slate. Compared to all the other forwards, it's not like super risky. I mean, it's just if he plays big minutes or not. But like Karl Anthony Towns is going to be out there. They should have to play him 28 minutes. Doesn't mean they'll do it.
Do we want to play pool? Do we want to play pool in this one too?
Maybe not as much in this one.
Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring game? Huh?
I mean, you can do it.
All
I'm
right.
not against it.
Who else can we play here? Who else do we like? I like. So we want to play Fox.
I like Fox. I like who else?
Yeah, I like Fox.
Yeah, it's just without Halliburton, it's so much. Like his assist percentage should go way up without Halliburton. So if you're betting on Prize Picks or if you're betting on any site, I'd take a look and see what the assist over under total is on De'Aaron Fox tonight.
Mitchell's been a little bit up and down.
Yeah, but I mean, like this one, you could probably throw him in there just because you're hoping for the upside game. Like, even if he just gets his like normal 40, then it's like, yeah. Will Barton's you have to get the upside game out of Will Barton though, at this price tag.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'd rather just play Mitchell because at least he's going to get you like 40s. Like the worst Mitchell does is probably get you like 45 points after the multiplier.
So you don't think playing Wiggins and Looney together is a bit bad?
No, because like Looney gets his points from rebounding.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
He's going to get it from scoring. Wiggins has to get his points from scoring. And
all right, read that one out.
So we got D'Angelo Russell 1.3, De'Aaron Fox at 1.3, Donovan Mitchell at 1.15, Christian Wood at 1.25, Andrew Wiggins at 1.45, Kevon Looney at 1.85, and then Karl Anthony Towns at 1.15.
And what did David say there?
Healed. So Buddy Hield will probably play in one of these lineups. He's 1.6. He's not starting tonight, even though he started at times this year. He's a guy that's going to go in the game. He's going to play probably 30 minutes. He's going to chuck up a lot of threes, and if he makes his threes, he's going to look really good. I mean, it's the same thing he is every night, but they just have a couple less bodies. So he probably plays a couple more minutes if he's playing well. So I think,
come on.
Do you want to do another? Let's do another one with Jokic, and then we'll put Anthony Edwards in too.
Okay.
And then because David asked about him, we'll put Buddy Hield in this one. Put Buddy Hield in this one at 1.6. But there you go.
For you, David. For you, David.
So hopefully he makes this threes tonight. I mean, that game should be pretty.
We're coming for you, David. We'll be coming for you otherwise.
That game should be pretty high scoring.
So we want to go Fox again here, or do we want to go somewhere else? We want to go Barton? No.
So let's see. I'm just thinking about forwards right now. I'm probably going to come back to the guard, like in my mind at least. So I kind of like, since we have Buddy Hield, kind of thinking that game's going to be pretty high scoring. I think this is the line that you take a chance on Kevin Porter at the 1.5. Like, you can't look at his box scores because it's like one game he'll get 17, the next game he'll get 40. So, but you're just hoping this is the big game. Which, if this game goes back and forth, they don't play defense and they score a lot of points like they did last time, it's definitely possible. I like putting Rashawn Holmes in this one too at 1.7.
Who was that?
Rashawn Holmes at 1.7. Who should be center, but he's forward for whatever reason.
Throw him in there?
Yep.
Okay.
Like I said, you can't really look at him too much this year just because he's had that eye injury. Then he was out on COVID. So it's just like it's been all over the place. But he's a guy that can put up big nights too. Let's see. Who else can we pull?
Dude, this is a nice lineup. Nice and risky. I like it.
I
Can we
think you
throw
still
Wood in
probably.
here for safety?
Yeah, you probably. I think you still throw Wood in here because I'm like, who else do we throw in from the Rockets? So I think it's still Christian Wood. Because if this game scores a lot of points, it's probably Porter and Wood. There is a chance Jalen Green does it or Eric Gordon, but it's not as high of a chance. And then, I don't know, maybe you – let's see. So we got 2 Kings. I mean, you could put Fox in. I don't hate Fox in this spot either. Because then we kind of have that Houston and Sacramento game stacked with Buddy Hield, De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Porter, Rashawn Holmes, Christian Wood. And then we have Anthony Edwards, high upside guy, and Jokic is, he's a high upside guy, but he's a safe guy at the same time, too.
All right, read that lineup out.
So at guard, there's Anthony Edwards, 1.25, Buddy Hield at 1.6, De'Aaron Fox at 1.3, and then forwards, Kevin Porter Jr., 1.5, Rashawn Holmes, 1.7, Christian Wood, 1.25, and then at center, Nikola Jokic with the 1x multiplier. And that's the lineup right there. That's either going to win first or get fifth to last.
Fifth? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, maybe not fifth to last because you'll see these contests where people don't they put people in and they get ruled out and then they don't change them at all. So that's the thing too. So this one's Karl Anthony Towns lineup, unless you want to put Gobert in one.
Nope.
I mean, we could
put
a Gobert.
Risk.
Yeah, I mean, we could put if we do it, we're going to do it for second take extra, but that's about it.
I mean, we can, but to me, when you're saying stuff like that, that to me is that's so much risk.
Yeah, I see in the comments there too. David said he's been hitting on a lot of 3-person plays. Smaller payouts, but it adds up over time. Yes, it definitely does. And you're only playing against 2 other people, so you still got a pretty good chance of winning compared to some of the bigger contests too as well. 33.3.
Right, do we want to play him? I mean, we can. I mean, he 1.25, but I just feel like so he has to get 45 points.
Yeah. It just depends how many minutes he plays. That's the biggest thing. It's like if
all
he
right,
doesn't.
We'll do one with him.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, it's a 3-game slate, so.
All right, let's get through this. Got 3.5 minutes.
Okay, so just go ahead and put Christian Wood in again. Then I guess. You want to put Harrison Barnes in this one? I don't think we have any with Harrison Barnes yet.
Barnesy.
Yeah, and then I guess just throw Otto Porter Jr. in again. And then go probably Jordan Poole, De'Aaron Fox, and I don't know, probably put D'Angelo Russell in again. It's kind of a boring one, but the major changes
are usually the ones that hit though. Those are the ones that usually hit. You said Fox,
Russell, Fox, and Poole. I mean, it's boring, but it's similar to one of the other lines we built, except we have Harrison Barnes and Rudy Gobert. So.
Yeah. All right, read that one out.
So at point guard, we got D'Angelo Russell 1.3, De'Aaron Fox 1.3, Jordan Poole 1.65, Christian Wood at 1.25, Harrison Barnes at 1.6, Otto Porter Jr. at 1.65, and Rudy Gobert at 1.25. Did you get that one saved in there?
Saving it right now. All right, so we got our 4 lineups. Let's see what's doing. Just going live. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so it should be pretty good. Hopefully it's pretty good tonight. I mean,
I got Juju in here.
What?
So I got Juju in here.
Oh.
In this lineup.
I didn't even realize that. I didn't even think they had him in the slate.
I just put him in there. Just man, I don't know.
You can do something, maybe.
Yeah, he can do something. I think he's a mean talent.
He's got a decent multiplier.
Goddard, I switched him out late. Cooper's turning around. I like that. Look at this. This dude right here is somebody that's he's one of my coaches too. And then let's see.
I was in third, I think it said there.
Yeah, you're in third. Oh, you must have dropped out. Damn. Here's Peacock.
Can you tell him to make me back up to first again? Oh, it says I'm in second, and third now. But that's like $65 less dollars than like that before.
I put a bunch of different lineups and you just put them all the same in. I just changed them all up. This was the last one I did, so I mean that's the one that's hitting.
Yeah, I mean, I just put the same pretty much. It's like if it hits one, and it's all.
Well, if I wouldn't have had Juju in here and I would have had Mike Evans in, like I'd probably be in first right now. Yeah, I would be in first because how much does Mike Evans have?
Like 21 or something, I think. 27.
29. Yeah, I'd be in first by a lot. Let's see.
Yep. Be interesting to see how the last game comes in at though.
Yeah, I'd be in first by a lot.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, man. Like you can just see like just little differences in the lineups.
Yep. And I mean, a lot of it's going to come down to how well Mahomes does tonight, honestly.
That's true. Mahomes. All right, let's just kind of check here and see what's going on tomorrow, and then we'll get out of here.
Yep. See how many games are actually on the slate tomorrow. Because obviously, it's like I said before, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There's 12 games tomorrow, but some of them are in the afternoon. So we'll see what the main slate look like. You got it?
Yep. I was just scrolled down too far. All right, I'm in the main slate.
They say it starts at 5 tomorrow.
What are these ones? I don't see any dollar ones yet.
Yeah, they put them up late last night too. Hold on. So the main slate starts at 5 tomorrow.
Yeah, this is weird. We'll see if they have put them all up. I figured they already have them all up.
No, they've been putting some of the ones up later lately.
So yeah, it starts at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Yep.
So we might as well talk about it right now. Because otherwise I can do the shit and like you can just do the show. So I'll be at work.
Might have to do that.
And then I can just give you.
Because it's like how many games too?
Yeah, I know. 6 games.
It's only 6?
5. Yeah, it says 6 games.
Oh,
the other ones are early. They're at 11:30.
Yeah. Let me see real quick.
All right, I'll get you hooked up tonight so you can do the show tonight or tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Because I want you to be home till 4 like something.
Yep.
So I'll get the graphics done for you too, and I'll get you access to it so you can just get in here and do it.
Yep. Sounds good. Yeah.
All right.
Kill this one, man.
Yep. Let's get out of here.
Yes, sir.
Let's close this out quick. All right, everybody. So it's probably going to be Craig doing the show tomorrow. Solo, since I'll probably be at work. But, yeah, I'll get him access to everything, and then it'll be him cruising. All right.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all being here. Peace out, everyone.